So, you're lean or shredded now. How do you not fuck it up? That's what we're going to cover in this video. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tom Sergi and I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this. A great question from a viewer of the channel. Thank you for submitting your question in, bud. And he says, "Hi Tom, can you shed light on what to do when you finish your cut? Like from the first week, day one, what do you need to adjust your macros, or how to reverse diet to maintenance? Or would you reverse diet to maintenance, sorry. How long for, and then start the lean bulk? Do you increase carbs? If so, by how much? Also, any advice on cravings? Surely be tempted to go out for at least one meal after you're dieting. Thanks." Great question. Absolutely great question. And something that obviously we put in place every time we crystallize a transformation like this. Straight away, as soon as that result is coming to the end, they get the video that's going to explain this exact question. So I'll go for it now, the way we would approach it. So let's say you finish the transformation. You are, and let's do a bit of drawings today. Let's do some drawings. So you finish the transformation. You've been eating X amount of calories. Really, your maintenance is up here. So we've got this deficit, all right, that you've obviously been in and needed to be in order to get to the goal. Now, you've got a couple of ways of doing it. You can just go straight to maintenance and then sit at that. I've never done it that way. I probably never will. The reason being, I find it too risky. Too risky. Especially if you've been in a great deficit of 500-700 calories, you put straight up to that. I just can't see the body coping with that much amount of food consistently. And the reason I know this is because I know how much the scale weight jumps up when I do high carb days with the guys towards the end. You're putting on at least a kg when you run a high carb day. You're telling me you're going to run a high carb day for 7 days straight, and the body's going to be all right at adapting with that. The reason I struggle to see that is we run a high carb day, and if we've done it right, you're full. Your stores are full. That's the purpose that we run the high carb day for. So if I was to then do that times 7 and continue, well, of course you're going to get some overspill, but the body's just not really going to be able to match the demands that you're using that much food with. So can you do that? Probably. Have I done it? No. So I can't even talk about it anyway and really say why it's bad. I just have my way of doing things and I like to do it this way. So the way I prefer to do it is straight away we want to increase food. We want to take you around here. So you want to add at least 250 to 300 calories, and I go straight for carbohydrates around the workout because I want your workouts to feel strong and fueled again, so that you can train like an absolute animal. Because if you can train like an absolute animal again, your output, your energy needs is going to increase, right? Because you're going to be training harder. So straight away, you're going to use that food properly. And then the next week, we add a little bit more on. And I go off, how is the scale weight trending and how are the visuals looking? The same way I got you to this level of leanness here is the same way I'm going to reverse you back out to maintenance. So we must understand from this position here, the goal is to get from dietary calories to maintenance. And there's probably going to be a good deficit in between those, at least 700 calories, I reckon. Because that's only a case of pulling your food down 3 to 4 times across a dietary period, which can happen very, very easily, to be honest. So there's always going to be a good deficit we need to claw back. So we're going to want to just continue in increments back up to it until we hit the maintenance amount. First, I go like this. I'll go week 1, carbs. Week 2, also carbs. Week 3, I'll start to put some fats in there. Why? Because fats are probably low because they're the thing I pull at most in the dietary phase, because again, carbs are sacred to drive performance in the gym. Gym floor performance is the biggest reason you will build and retain tissue. Let's be honest, you're not going to build tissue by eating. You need to move the weight. Then I'll put fats in, but the reason I do that is fats will now slow down the digestion of everything else you're eating. It's putting peanut butter in your morning oats to make it, essentially slow down the digestion. So fats are good, and we want to continuously claw back these targets. Now, ideally, you shouldn't need to add protein because you shouldn't have really pulled from protein in the dietary phase anyway. If you have, then fine. You're going to look to increase it through that. Why I also increase carbs again. Carbs come a lot more volume of food than the fats will. So it'll feel like you're eating more, and that's essentially what we want to do. Now, The next part of his question he asked about cravings, and he also asked about eating out. This is a great question in regards to both. If you've dieted down, you will get to the point where like your hormones of leptin and ghrelin will be like pretty fucking heightened sensitive, and they'll be telling you all the time you're still hungry even when you've eaten. So you have to have that mindset that, look, we're going to go from here, we're going to diet all the way down to here, but I'm not really finished until I get to here. This is not the end. The end is not the leanness, although you may think it is. The end is actually when I am back to maintenance calories and I'm lean, because that was the goal, right? And let's be honest, like, the reason we do this, boys, is so we can live a good life in good fucking shape, but also, like I say, live a good life and be able to go and enjoy some nice food and stuff. So it's not that how you got there is not how you need to stay there. No. How you stay there is honestly like probably like a quarter of the effort that it took to actually get there. So rest assured, you should be able to live a good life once you get to this lean level. So what we want to do now is understand that, right, for the next 3-4 weeks until I'm back at maintenance, and that's all it really needs to be, unless it is a greater deficit and or your body is increasing its scale weight quite quickly, then you're going to want to curb that. So it's not going to be the longest of period, but you must understand in your own mindset, you're still going to be hungry. Technically, you're still at a deficit. Could you see yourself dropping weight? The reason I say you won't do is because when you see that, you're going to increase through food anyway. Even though you should still be in a deficit, I've always just said scale weight, go on. But of course, it's going to be because you've got more glycogen inside the muscle and you're holding weight from water weight inside the muscle itself. So we must understand then two things. Where in my approach, you're going to staircase it back. Step 1, carbs. Step 2, carbs. Step 3, fats. You're going to take the approach that I'm still going to be hungry during this dieting phase. Fine. But it's going to get progressively easier as I go through. One thing I would say is you want to absolutely have, and this may seem contradictory, you want to have one off-plan meal per week. Because you're not dieting down to get shredded. And if you forever still restrict your family, friends, and say, no, I'm still dieting, we can't go out for that off-plan meal, I think it's overkill at that point. What I would say is the off-plan meal you have wants to be whole, proper foods. Go out and get a fucking 12-ounce steak, and because you can work the macros out for that, right? Go and get some like sushi or something that's going to fill you up as part of your carbs. Just keep it clean for the reverse phase. Don't get and anyway, if you watch the channel, you're not going to be eating fucking McDonald's and the equivalent of anyway. So go and get like proper whole foods, like foods where you eat them and you're like, that wasn't pure processed garbage. And just you can factor that into your daily amount and your weekly amount anyway. So I wouldn't overstress it. I would have the off-plan meal, because as you get into the gaining phase, you're absolutely going to be having that off-plan meal every week, and you should be. That's the time to socialise and enjoy that off-plan meal. But just understand it also comes at a detriment. If that off-plan meal was really fatty and really greasy and you're in the off-season trying to eat loads of food, I tell you now, it makes getting back to your diet a lot harder. Same with alcohol, it's just not going to be as progressive for your training. So have the off-plan meal, but just eat proper food. Like you want it to be a fucking animal. An animal wouldn't be eating like weird processed seed oils and bullshit, would he? He'd be eating proper food. So that's your mindset and who you are now. You eat proper food. Can you eat off-plan? Yeah. Can you take people out for dinner? Of course you can. But you're eating proper food. You're not eating garbage. So let's just go through the question and wrap it up. So we understand how we're going to approach this from day 1, week 1, increase through carbohydrates, and you're going to, every week, keep progressing it. Now, one thing I would say is just still continue to assess the data and make the decision off that. If you increase your calories, you put 2 kilo on, just hold the line the next week, because it will plateau itself out again, and then it will go again. Then you'll need to insert some more food again. Just listen to your body. The reverse phase will take as long as it takes, but almost look at it like this. From the day you finish your diet, you're basically starting your bulk from then. I know I'm telling you you're going to go for a reverse, but the way you're going to reverse is the way you're going to continuously bulk anyway. And it sets you up in the right mindset for bulking. It's listen to my body, see how the scale weight reflects, see how my performance in the gym reflects. Are my numbers in the gym increasing? No, I need more food. Is my scale weight increasing? No, I need more food. Is my scale weight increasing? Yes. How much by? Fucking 2 kilos. Okay, right. Probably just curve this a little bit. How are my numbers in the gym? They're absolutely flying. Perfect. And you always want to be assessing that. And that's how you're going to approach your bulk. Once you've got back to maintenance, you don't need to go in a massive surplus. The surplus isn't going to build muscle. The surplus is going to support your efforts on the gym floor to lift something that you've never lifted before. So, of course, you want to be stepping on that gym floor every time with full fucking glycogen stores, bursting out the muscle cells, ready to absolutely move something you've never done before, and then you're going to recover from it. So you're always looking... How is my gym floor performance? What support does it need from food? Obviously, recovery is a separate issue, but what does it need from food? And you're going to continuously staircase your way back up there. Just take that philosophy from this video, and you'll be absolutely fine. So it's a great question. Hopefully, I answered it in detail. If not, and you want any more details, comment below. And thanks for submitting the question. If you found it useful, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.